Go over two problems for you guys, numbers 5 and number 9 on your homework assignment. That's going to be a review. There will be a circumcenter and an orthocenter question on your on this upcoming test that's going to be for you guys to complete. Real quick, I'm going to encourage you guys to do the following. I think you guys would be very, very good for you to complete number 9, okay, on page 353. This is going to be in addition to the other assignments that you guys had, but this is one problem where they're going to have you complete the orthocenter and the circumcenter simultaneously for the same set of coordinates. Okay, so here we go on number 5 on your homework. This was a circumcenter problem. Okay, remember the operative lines that create the concurrency for the point of concurrency for the circumcenter. All right, so what we're going for is the perpendicular bisector, meaning that it's the perpendicular means we're gonna have to solve the slope, right? So you have to find the perpendicular slope, and the bisector means that we're going to have to find the midpoint. So our coordinates, x, which is -2, 1, y, which is 2, -3, and z, which is 6, -3. We're going to work here with xy, right? And I'm going to, again, try to avoid this issue with the -3s, so I'm not going to use yz, okay? I don't want to have to deal with that undefined or zero slope. So xy, what we wind up is with -2 plus 2 over 2 when you calculate that midpoint, and then 1 minus 3 over 2. And that's going to have a midpoint of 0, right? -2 plus 2 is 0, divided by 2 is still going to be 0, and then 1 minus 3 is -2, divided by 2 is -1. Then there's going to be xz. Xz is going to be a -2 plus 6 over 2, and then a 1 minus 3 over 2, right? -2 plus 6 is 4, divided by 2 is going to be 2, and then 1 minus 3 is -2, divided by 2 is -1. So those are our 2 points we're going to work with, those 2 midpoints. But then now we need to find the slopes, right? So we have the slope of xy, which is -3 minus 1 over 2 minus -2, or -4 over 4, which is -1. So the perpendicular there, it's just going to be 1. So now we have our slope. We have a point and a slope, and we'll be able to assemble that equation through point slope. Before we move on, let's go ahead and solve for the slope of xc. It's going to be -3 minus 1 over 6 minus -2, which is a -4 over a positive 8, or -1/2. So the perpendicular to that is just going to be positive 2. Okay? Again, point slope. Here we go. Point, slope, point. We have our point and our slope. So we're going to have x minus -1 is equal to 1 times the quantity x minus 0. Then we're going to have y minus -1 is equal to 2 times the quantity x minus 2. And let's solve both of those. We'll have y plus 1 is equal to 1 times x is x. 1 times -0 is just 0, right? And then we're going to subtract that 1 from both sides, and we'll have y is equal to x minus 1. So that's pretty clean. And then we have y plus 1 is equal to 2x minus 4, right, when we distribute. And then we're going to subtract 1 from each side, leaving us with y is equal to 2x minus 5. So those are pretty clean. They both equal y, correct? Therefore, these two things equal each other. So we have x minus 1 is equal to 2x minus 5. Subtract x from both sides. We have a -1 is equal to x minus 5. We add 5 to both sides, and we have 4 is equal to x. Take that guy, plug it back in there, right? So y is equal to 4 minus 1, or in other words, y is equal to 3. So that right there is our circumcenter, which is 4, 3. All right. Next, we have number 9, which is an orthocenter problem. So I'm going to show you 2 things at the end of this problem. Orthocenter is where we're going to calculate the altitude, okay? So from there, the altitude, we're going to go from G. Okay, so G, which is 1,6 on that problem. Okay, so the slope of HJ is what we're going to need, which is going to be 1 minus 6 over 3 minus 5, or negative 5 over negative 2, which is actually just 5 over 2. And the perpendicular slope of HJ is going to be the negative reciprocal, so negative 2/5. Now let's work from H, and H was 5,6, right? So we stayed away from that guy because we didn't want to have to deal with undefined and zero slope. It's going to be the measure of GJ, which is going to be 1 minus, oops, it's not 1 minus 5, it's 1 minus 6 over 3 minus 1. So it's interesting, we're going to have a negative 5 over positive 2, and the perpendicular is going to look similar. It's going to be positive 2/5 rather than negative 2/5. So this one, we have our point and we have our slope, okay? And we are ready to rock. So we have y minus 6 is equal to negative 2/5 times the quantity x minus 1. We also have y minus 6 is equal to positive 2/5 times the quantity x minus 5, right? So we're going to have to solve these guys for y. So we have y minus 6 is equal to negative 2/5 x plus 2/5, okay? And I really don't want to deal with these fractions, so this is the thing I was trying to show you guys. So I'm going to take a detour on this problem. I'm going to multiply everything out by 5. Now that I've done that, I'm actually fundamentally changing the equation. So this is still my original equation that I'm going to have to go back to, okay, when I input back into for y. So we're going to have y minus 30, right, is equal to negative 2x plus 2. So now I don't have to deal with fractions anymore. When I added that 6 otherwise, I would be adding 6 here, and that's going to be problematic for us, right? It's going to be added 6 to 2/5, which is 6 2/5, but it's going to wind up being messy later on for us if we really don't want to deal with those fractions. So this guy, I'm going to distribute on the other side. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't finish this guy up on the left. So y is equal to negative 2x plus 32. Okay, straightforward. This one over here, y minus 6 is equal to 2/5 x minus, and then it's going to be a 2. And again, I don't want to really deal with that fractional 5 when I add. So actually, I don't even really need to worry about that. I can actually just add 6 to both sides. Or no, my apologies, guys. I multiplied by 5 on the other side, so I have to do that here. I'm going to go back and show you guys how to do this with the fractions. This guy doesn't come out as clean otherwise, okay? So plus 30 plus 30. Because I changed this one, I have to change this one, okay? Otherwise, one of them is going to be 5 times larger than the other one, which is not going to be the same equation. So now I have two things, both equal to y, therefore they equal each other. Okay, so I'm going to add 2x to both sides. I have 32 is equal to 4x plus 20 minus 20 on both sides. I'm going to have 12 is equal to 4x. Therefore, my x is going to be 3. And I have to go back. Remember what I said? I have to go utilize my original equation here, okay? So I have to put my x back in here. So I'm wind up with y minus 6 is equal to negative 2/5 times the quantity 3 minus 1. So y minus 6 is equal to, it's going to be negative 2/5 times positive 2, or y minus 6 is going to be equal to negative 4/5, okay? I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And then this guy in sixths is going to be, or fifths is going to be 30/5. So y is going to be equal to 26/5. And that actually is your coordinate, 3, 26/5. Okay, now, here's the issue. Let's go back here. I'm going to actually just do this with fractions because I like to do that sometimes. So y minus 6 is going to be equal to, it was negative 2/5 x plus 2/5. And then I'm going to add 6 to both sides, right? So y is going to be equal to negative 2/5 x, right? And then adding 6 again to 2/5. Well, this guy again is going to be 35th. So guys, this is going to be 32/5. So that's one equation. All right. The other one, we have y minus 6 is equal to positive 2/5 times x minus 5 is going to be 2/5 x. And then times a negative 5 is going to be minus 2, right? So add 6 to both sides. Y is equal to 2/5 x plus 4. These guys equal y, therefore they equal each other, negative 2/5, right? Y and y, x plus 32/5. And this is if we didn't want to multiply by 5, right? Because otherwise we still have to utilize, it's confusing which equation we utilize. We don't want to utilize, going back to this other problem right over here, right? Where we did this guy. We don't want to plug that 3 into one of these two, because look at what that's going to do. It's going to give us the wrong answer, right? Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. And then plus that, that 32 just isn't the correct answer, okay? And the reason why is because it's been increased by a magnitude of 5. So it's just not a useful equation for us anymore, all right? Add 2/5 x to both sides. So I have 32/5 is equal to 4/5x plus 4. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. And 4 in fifths is 20/5, right? So then I'm going to wind up with 12/5 is equal to 4/5 x. And of course, right, I'm going to multiply by 5/4 on both sides. And then I have 12 divided by 4, which is 3. So that gives me my x. And if I take this guy, I can plug him back in here, and guess what I'm going to get, right? Y is going to be equal to 2/5 times 3 plus 4, which is going to be 6/5 plus 4. 4 again is 20/5, or in other words, this is going to be 26/5, okay? Which is the same exact thing that I got before, but kind of showing what that answer is. Now, this is the way that I've continued to do it in class. I've only done it on Twitch for you guys before, hadn't done it in class, showing you guys how to actually utilize multiplying by that factor. But that's the trick in it, right? Is that you have to make sure that you're utilizing the proper equation right here when you plug back in your answers, okay? When you plug back in this x. So that's all I got for you guys. If you have any questions, reach out on email. Good luck.